What's happening, financial coaches? It's Pete here, founder of Expedition Money, by the way, and author of Get Out of Debt Fast here, as well as some other books, some children's materials, financial coloring books, and things like that. But that was a shameless plug for some of the things that I've done myself that you can buy on Amazon. But one of the things that I wanted to weigh in on here is a question about why would you recommend a debt management or debt consolidation company when people could do this on their own and save themselves the fees that would come along with this, as well as put in the effort themselves to fix their own problem. And the reason that I'm going to say that I often will recommend a debt management company is because the end result is usually far better for them than trying to do it on their own. Now, I agree. There's nothing that a debt management company or a consolidation company that says, hey, I take your credit card debt, your car loan, all these things, put them into one, you get one monthly payment. I've lowered the interest rates by pre-negotiating them, or they usually have relationships with the credit cards to get lower interest rates, and then they charge on a fee of $50 a month, $70 a month fee to administer it, and then your debt is paid off, say, in 5 years. The problem with this is that, yes, it's technically possible that you could do it on your own. It's technically possible that you could run a 5-minute mile, but the reality is that most people, if they try to do this on their own, just cannot get those results. And I will tell you that if you call your credit card company and you are paying 21% interest, you might get 17%. But that debt management company might be getting 9 by default on everyone just because of how many people they are working with. And so your best efforts might not get you anywhere near this. And even with that fee, it may still be cheaper for you mathematically. Now, the second thing I would say is that, yes, if you want to go through this process of trying to negotiate, consolidating things, trying to move the due dates or the pay dates around so that it's like a debt management service, you could do that, spend the time doing that, and that might make you feel more invested in the solution. But I will tell you what, people like doing things the easiest way possible. Getting into debt is fairly easy, and that's why people do it. We have a limited amount of time, and I feel like a lot of financial coaches, like financial advisors and bankers, they're always saying, why isn't this person calling me back? This is their financial future we're talking about. Just handling some of these things feels like minutia and is not necessarily the top priority for everyone. And the easier you make it, the more likely you're going to make progress on stuff. I'm not saying that you can't throw in some things that are going to be a little bit difficult to show people, hey, that they are putting some of their own skin in the game or investing their own time in it. We want people to do that. But I also don't want this to not work because now, instead of just having this much space to cross, right, meeting with a debt counselor, setting up a debt management program, and then 3 weeks later getting into your debt management program and just making your monthly payments, and then having it be out of sight, out of mind, making progress along the way. Instead, making this to be a month-long or 2 or 3 month-long process where it's daily calls and follow-up emails and follow-up letters and a lot of extra work. And maybe at some point they give up on that. So I just find it funny that sometimes we want to add in complexity and trouble because we think that's going to make them more likely to stick with the process or be more bought in. The reality is you don't need a bank account too. You could set up your own little system of deposits and transactions and set up a little physical bank at your home as well. But we're trying to make things as simple as possible. In my opinion, what I'm trying to do is get more life into the equation and less money in the equation. What I don't want you to do is spend your 24 hours obsessing about money and obsessing about all these things. Ultimately, and I think the ideal situation would be, is that we're living our full life here, that we're not worrying about money. That's the idea of having an unlimited bank account, an unlimited checking account, right? We don't have to worry about money. We don't have to worry about what bills we need to pay. And yet sometimes I feel like financial coaches are trying to take those 24 hours that we have in the day and make as many of those hours about money as possible and not let people have their life. And that's why people are reaching out to you, because they want more life added back to the equation here. So those are my thoughts in general. Now, you might have some certain personalities or some certain behaviors that need to be modified, and this may be a way to do it. I'm not saying on an individual level, this can't be a solution. But in most cases, what I want is to get people to a solution as quickly as possible. I want them to understand that process, be bought in. A lot of times the motivation is already there. So I don't need to teach them lessons on this. They want to get things fixed. They want to get things solved. And once we get them past that, then we can talk about the next thing, get them onto their next objective and their next goal. I just want you to remember that there's a limited amount of time on this planet. You may think, hey, these 4 or 5, 6 months aren't that big of a deal. I'm going to teach them a lesson, and it could be a worthwhile exercise. But the reality is, too, I have seen financial coaches work with people to get debt paid down over 10 or 15 years And that is 10 or 15 years those people can't get back. And they are going to be financially ruined for retirement, where the coach thought they were doing them a favor by making them own that process of paying off all their debt. That's pretty scary. So what I want to do is get people moving along as fast as possible. It's also my financial wellness program. I think people want to make as much progress as quickly as possible. And so I want to embrace that for the people that are motivated to do that. If you're looking for the easy way and shortcuts, that's not what this is about. But it's also about not just making things harder on ourselves just because we want to, or just because you think that they need to learn a lesson. That's a little bit of a rant, but hopefully that helps. I'll see you later.